Welcome to the Odds Breakers, number one place for shared, sharp betting information.
All right, we are back. It is Circa contest weekend. Sean Kanaki in the house, my partner in crime, comes here every single year with the Odds Breakers. Sean, fantastic. How you doing, Sean?
I'm doing fantastic. I got the A's today, and they are up 8-3 in the bottom of the ninth. And I'm at Circa in Las Vegas for Ultimate Contest Weekend, which is the best weekend of the year. So it just doesn't get any better than that, winning and being in Circa.
Yeah, absolutely, man. If you're winning, why not, right? How do you not want to win? That is a great start, because last year when I left Circa, Sean, I hit a nice 14 parlay, and I'm sitting there in the plane looking like, oh, okay, let's move that account balance way up. So it's always nice to come back to a account balance, a new account balance. So here we are, man. It is Circa weekend. Super excited. We have some amazing guests for you. These contests are rolling, Sean. What do we do when we get here? What's the first thing we do?
Well, usually it's grab a cocktail, but I had to quit drinking doctor's orders. But we go down, we get entered into the contests. I signed up a couple of millions and a survivor about 3 hours ago with you. So our boy Vegas Matty down there, and got taken care of. But you know, it's signing up for the contests, and that's the first thing I do when I get here, and as soon as you arrive. So.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I did too, and that's why I got this hat right here. Circa Millions, got in again. This is my fifth, sixth? I'd say sixth. I started when it was 2. I wish I started was 1. I still was in the Westgate back then, but I did start and certainly brought the white hat back. I love the white hat. It looks even better than the one before. And we got the Survivor hat obviously going on as well. If anybody is in the Circa today, please feel free to stop by and grab some swag, as we have lighters for you with the Odds Breakers logo on. We got some shirts. We got a few hats left that are going fast, so make sure you grab one quick. A few bumper stickers and some fun. The bar's right next to us, Sean. I mean, I don't know if they put that there because of me or you last year, but here we are.
Yeah, hey, we got prime position in this year. It looks like they're waiting for us, and we got a small group of hecklers floating in and out around the booth right now, checking us out. So definitely a spot you want to be if you haven't come out. I highly recommend it. I do want to apologize for the green look of the guest sitting in my spot. Apparently, my camera wants to give you a little tint look. So I trust me, I'm not this green in real life, folks.
Well, speaking of green, there is nobody that is new to this platform and the Odds Breakers here. There's just some amazing radio stations here. CX7 The Score is one of the ones I listened to as a kid. Lots of ESPN sports radio. Cam's here from Sports Grid. You got to love Cam Stewart. We have got a lot of great guys here. Our fantasy guy, Dave D. Nasty, is here. We love Dave. And, we're just having a lot of fun. But you know what? We got a lot of guests lined up, Sean. So without further ado, let's bring on our first guest, and Mr. Marco D'Angelo from Wager Talk. So while Marco comes on, I just want to remind you guys to get into the Circa. This is the best place for sports betting as well as contests. As you know, I personally love the Circa. I have affinity for it. It's the only place I come when I actually go to Vegas. So, the odds are always the best here to sharp bettors. They allow you to put as much money. Well, there's limits, but it's a hell of a lot more than any place on the strip where you can get into these Circa football contests. But I advise you to do that. And here we are, Mr. Marco D'Angelo. He's always my favorite.
I'm doing good, Kev. Thanks for having me. Always enjoy getting to talk with you, and looking forward to upcoming football season.
Oh, me too, man. Here we are. Football season is here, and that's why we want to bring the best cappers from around Las Vegas as well as a country. And no better person than Marco D'Angelo, who has a ton of experience. You know, he's a very young man, but somehow still has the 40 years of experience. But Marco is always involved in the series as well. But Marco used to use his net. He was just telling me once about WNBA. Yeah, yeah, certainly not trying to find it, but Marco, let's get this little wager talking. How that's just benefits the followers and fans that you have, but maybe any incoming vendors to the marketplace.
Well, Kiev, obviously we are a pick selling site, but what we do is we have a ton of free information. We have a ton of shows that we up, and my favorite show at Wager Talk obviously is Bet On It. That's my baby, the one that I've been on from its inception, and we break down games. But what we try to do when we have these shows is not only do we want to give you free plays, Kiev, we want to teach you how to handicap games. And I know it's a corny phrase, but I like to use it all the time. We want to make you a better. And, that's what it's about. It's a community where we have, handicappers. We've got guys that, cover everything. We got guys that do Japanese baseball and do very well at it. So, whatever it is, you want to find a niche in the market, we're there for you. And like I said, WNBA, knock on wood, never did WNBA till 2 years ago. We've had 2 years of results, and we're hitting 70% in the WNBA. So you know what? You don't have to enjoy the sport or watch the sport. I actually do enjoy watching it and go to the games, but I always hear guys tell me, I'm not going to watch the WNBA. Do you, when you invest in stock, do you sit there and watch your stocks all day? No, you just check and see if you won and you went up or down, and that's all you got to do.
Well, there you have it, my man. I mean, that's really much everything. It's like you could be a great college football bettor, but there's like 40 games on Saturday. It's like, serious. I don't care if the screens are in front of you. Your brain capacity just cannot move that fast, right? But that's why you have partners. You have a community like Marco has at Wager Talk that helps you out. You share information, and when you have a conglomerate like that, I think it really helps you out and gives you an edge, or takes you off bets, because it's better to be off a bad bet than win a good bet, because you lose more money based on the two.
Absolutely, yeah. I say that all the time. We take you off that bad bet. You saved 1.1. If I give you a winner, you made one. So you make more on not losing than actually having a winner.
Well, that's so important, and that's such great betting advice, Marco. Thank you for that. Next question I have is, what's your favorite thing about football contests here at the Circa? Obviously they've grown over the years.
Oh, there's no question. And, Circa, what they've done with the contest, and what I like about the contest is, yes, is you've got that year long, somebody comes to town, and this is something that, we have, and I know you're going to talk to a lot of different people that have proxies and stuff. You don't have to be living or residing in the state of Nevada to partake in these. You just have to come in and make your, initial sign up and get a proxy, and you can enjoy a football season. I know people that come to town before the football season comes. They'll invest their money in the Circa, either the Survivor or the Millions contest. And then what they do is they've got action for the whole football season. And the beauty of the contest now that we've seen is they have in-season contests. So it's not just the full season. And how many times, unfortunately, have you gotten off to maybe a bad start the first couple of weeks of a season, and then, you're out of a contest? Well, with, the Circa Millions contest, you're not out of the contest. There's many contests throughout the season which you can win, and that keeps you alive the whole way through.
Absolutely, man. And that is, huge that you have those mini contests involved in the millions. And, that you can't thank Derek Stevens and Mike Palm and the guys over here enough for putting on such a great show for us, and what they do for the industry. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Going into these contests, I think some coworkers or associates may have had some success in the contest. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, one of my colleagues, Carmine Bianco at Wager Talk, cashed in the the first quarter of the contest, and it was a 6-figure score for him. So, a nice investment, get a return like that, and you cash in the first quarter, you're free rolling the rest of the way, and well, he's actually free rolling for for the rest of his lifetime in the Circa Millions with a 6-figure score out of the gate. So it's fun, and I got to he flew into town the week afterwards. The big check presentation, everybody likes that whenever you get the big card.
Well, there you have it. It looks like a few internet issues, but it's coming back here over here at the Circus. So hopefully, it's going to come in and out sometimes as everybody is using this Wi-Fi. This place, Radio Row, is stacked. There's so many people here. We're having so much fun.
You sure it's not me, Kiev? I've been a bad luck with you on shows with Wi-Fi.
Marco has one of his great Kentucky Derby winners and just can't make it on because of his Wi-Fi last week. Yeah, that's just pretty much par for the course how it's been. No, we love Marco. It's all right. We are used to Wi-Fi going out, but hopefully it gets fixed here in a little bit. And that's why you have cellular backup. Here we are, Marco. Got to tell us now. I got to talk about the important stuff. Pittsburgh Steelers. All about that. Not only did they lose Justin Fields, well, they got the Jets quarterback and a very drama-free type guy like Aaron Rodgers. What do you think about this matchup in NFL Week 1 as a Steelers fan?
As a Steeler fan, I can tell you this is so unlike the Steelers. The whole drama of everything that we've had with Aaron Rodgers. The whole, is he signing? Is he not signing? What are the Steelers going to do? Were they going to trade up, in the draft to try to get a quarterback? And, this wasn't the crop of quarterbacks this year that, you would do that. Everybody thinks that the crop coming out next year is better. Then, the drama of him, coming to Pittsburgh and then not signing, waited till just, a week or so before training camp, or not training camp, but the OTAs. It's just, I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid just yet. I know everybody in Pittsburgh, feels that, this team was, just a quarterback away. We haven't had a quarterback since, Ben Roethlisberger 2 years before he retired. Let's be honest about it. The last couple of years, he was still productive, but, he wasn't as mobile. Not that he ever was, but lost a little bit of the arm strength in that. Last year, they got off to a great start. Justin Fields was 4-2, to begin with. I'll be honest with you. If I was the GM, I probably would have given Justin Fields a shot. I would have went with that route and kept him, Kiev, because if he did take that next step, then you've got a young quarterback that's going to be for no matter what happens this year. This is a one and done with Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to be in this boat again next year. What do we do? You brought back Mason Rudolph. When he signed, thought he was going to have a legitimate shot at the starting job, and then the Aaron Rodgers drama starts. I look at it, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy and we don't have any drama, maybe this can work. Okay. They got rid of one of the problems before it even became a problem. They got rid of George Pickens before they even signed Aaron Rodgers. And that was the first sign to me that I thought that this Aaron Rodgers thing was going to happen, because you don't need two divas on the offense. Okay. And Pickens, for all the talent he has, and I don't know what it is about the Steelers, but they've had a history. Man, they can find good wide receivers in the draft, but they're all head cases, every single one of them. I'm sorry, Dallas, good luck with them. It might work out for you, but when they got rid of him, that told me that Aaron Rodgers was coming.
Yeah, welcome Aaron Rodgers to the drama receiver room. I don't know if that stops. I don't remember. Santonio Holmes might have been the last receiver there in Pittsburgh without the drama, right? It's been a minute. No, but I think it's hilarious because Justin Fields was a Bears quarterback. We take a lot from Packer
And
fans about our quarterbacks all the time here in Chicago, and it's just like now Justin Fields is going to come in with a little bit of revenge. Why didn't you try me, guys? And like you said, Marco, it's like that's what I would say. It's almost like Aaron Rodgers. This can't be a revenge game for him. And of course, these are just BS stories we are making. We're part of the media too, but mindset type stuff. The people want stories. You wonder if there's an extra edge for somebody's emotions, and I just can't see it with Aaron Rodgers because he got hope. It's not like he let the Jets down or they let him down. He made the Jets hire his offensive
uh,
Jets +3.
I am going to look for spots to go against the Steelers in the early going because, every year what I like to do is I want to hear the noise. I want to hear what teams everybody's clamoring about because we're going to talk about them for 3 months leading into the season, and it's going to be baked into the numbers. And the Steelers, the first few games, will be overpriced, in my opinion. Especially you're going to talk about, because of the Jets game and everybody wanting to make the angle out of it. For Justin Fields, yeah, he didn't get a shot. I thought it was unfair. He went 4-2. Now I get the old adage that you don't lose your starting job to an injury, and the job was going to be Russell Wilson's last year, and it was only going to be Russell Wilson simply because they got him on a contract that they couldn't pass up. It only cost them $1 million to get Russell Wilson last year, so as soon as he was ready to go, they put him in there. It was good for a few weeks, okay, till we hit about week 10, 11, and then it all fell apart. And Justin Fields never got a shot again. So will he have some motivation? Yeah. Is he going to excel in New York? I don't know that that's the place that anybody can excel. But, remember, with some really bad quarterbacks, the Jets were competitive for a few years. And we had, Wilson there, Zach Wilson, and, they kept clamoring. All they needed was a quarterback, and that's why they went out and got Aaron Rodgers. So let's see what Justin Fields does. I don't know if this is going to be a winning proposition for the Steelers. There's two teams that they're definitely looking up at in the division with Baltimore and Cincinnati. They're going to beat Cleveland. They'll be probably the third place finisher in the division. Will three teams make the playoffs out of the AFC North? Probably not.
Yeah, I feel the same way as a Bears fan because I feel like your division is just really hard. Obviously Cleveland's Cleveland, but they still have Myles Garrett. There's still a team that's just going to be playing with house money in a way. It's like no one's got big expectations for them. And then you have obviously Baltimore and Cincinnati. I really think I don't like what I've Cincinnati, completely honest with. And offense is great, but that defense, they're not going to have any margin for error. And I think this is kind of a good segue, Marco, to move into a little bit of odds here for the divisions, right? Let's talk some divisional odds. And we can start with, I just changed to college, I'll change it back to pro here. The NFC North. If you had to make a bet in any of these divisions, let's start with the NFC North. Lions +160 to win the division. Packers +250. Vikings +300. Bears +500. Which one would you take?
Well, we did a show last week, Kiev, bet on it, and I did give a play out in this division. I think Minnesota is going to be undervalued this year. Everybody automatically has handed the division to the Lions. Everybody expects year two, Caleb Williams, new head coach and everything to improve. In Minnesota to take a big step backwards because, Sam Darnold didn't re-sign there. Well, if you remember, he wasn't supposed to start last year, okay? It was supposed to be J.J. McCarthy, and he got hurt. And that's the only reason that, Sam Darnold got the job. Was it really Sam Darnold? He had a marvelous year, had the best year of his career, but this might be one of those ones where it's the system and not the quarterback. And if J.J. McCarthy has any kind of season, I think Minnesota has a chance to run with Detroit. I think Detroit's going to take a little bit of a step backwards this year. You lose your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator in the same year. And, teams are, trying to catch up to you as they have. I mean, Detroit had a great year last year. They've had 2 great years, but that loss in the first round of the playoffs stung. I think Minnesota at plus 300 is value.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I took that too, Marco. I did. I mean, well, here's the thing. I'm making a play against the Packers more and against the Bears, and I'm a Bears fan. I think the Bears are going to start off rocky and then kind of bet the magic of Ben Johnson will show up later. But I think that the Vikings are prime. I put a little bit back on the Lions at plus 140-ish. But I just think that Minnesota right now, if J.J. McCarthy is kind of what he is supposed to be, which looks like a pretty good game manager that can make a few big plays here and there, that's just going to be good enough because that Minnesota defense is bad and badass is what I'm going to say. And they brought in a lot of big guys, so I agree with you there. How about the NFC South with the Bucks minus 110, Falcons plus 230, Panthers plus 425, and Saints plus 1,400.
Well, we know we ain't putting any money on the Saints. They're probably going to be the worst team in football this year. You look at Tampa Bay, it's a short price, but I just don't see them losing this division. Kiev, this is one of those ones where a lot of people are going to get, the sexy pick is to take Atlanta and Michael Penix Jr. But, it's one thing coming in at the end of the season for a few games, get your feet wet. You start now for the season, it's going to be a different story. And I think there's going to be growing pains with him at quarterback. I like him a lot. I loved him in college. I thought he was a good spot. I was hoping, whenever he was available in the draft, that maybe the Steelers would take a reach on him. But, he's in Atlanta. They got him. I think he's going to do well, but I don't think it's going to be immediate. And I still am not sold on this Atlanta defense at all. It's Tampa Bay or nothing in this division.
I 100% agree, but I did take Tampa last year at plus 330, and now they're kind of like closer to even money. So I'm not seeing a ton of value in it. But what I will say is the under on the Saints alternate under win total. I think that there could be the worst team in the whole. It's got look, the coach Kellen Moore. I mean, he was a decent offensive coordinator. He had a lot of talent around him in the Cowboys and the Eagles. But let's face it, this is a new coach. It's a honeymoon year for him. There's not a lot of expectations. He needs to win 2 games, and he's going to retain his job. The Saints are a terrible team, and their defense has been picked apart. I agree that they're the worst team. Let's move to the NFC East. Eagles minus 135. Commanders plus 220. Cowboys plus 550. Giants 22-1.
Yeah, this is one of those ones, Philadelphia is the slam dunk that everybody's going to look at. I know a lot of people like what they saw out of Washington last year. I'm just going to say one thing, and I loved what Daniels did last year as a rookie, but I'm just going to remind everybody of C.J. Stroud. We saw the drop-off from year 1 to year 2. I don't know that it will be as severe, but now you've got a full season of game film to look at. And I think Washington caught a lot of people by surprise at the beginning of the season, not knowing how to defend him and what his strengths and weaknesses were going to be. Let's see if he can continue that in week 2. I'm going to go ahead and I'll probably, bang my head against the wall later in the season for do it. But I did take Dallas at that price. I just think that price is way too high. This team has so much talent offensively that if they can stay healthy and, stay out of all of the drama that usually surrounds the Dallas Cowboys, they got a chance to score a lot of points. And Pickens, as much as I don't like him, when I look at CeeDee Lamb on one side and I look at Pickens on the other side and a healthy Dak Prescott, they're going to put up some points, and you can't double team both of them. And that's going to leave one of those guys in single coverages in what I feel is going to present a lot of mismatches. I think you're going to see some big plays from the Cowboys this year offensively. I took a flyer on them with the price. And this is a division, if you want to go for history, same team doesn't repeat in the NFC East. I think it's going on close to 2 decades.
Dallas Cowboys, what could go wrong?
Everything.
Are they going to have another White House thing going on. No, it's the third. I guess the 30 for 30 story on the Cowboys is really fun. I heard some highlights of Michael Irving and how he pretty much cracked up that whole team. Yeah, I don't know. Dak Prescott is the kind of guy that seems pretty good in the regular season, that's for sure. But he just can't get into the playoffs. I think the value probably is on the Cowboys. The Commanders are all the way down to 2-1. That's maybe even the Giants, but that would take a hell of a season from Russell Wilson to bring them back. I'm staying away from this one, but I don't mind your play. NFC West, Niners down to plus 150, who was fourth in the division last year. The Rams at plus 195, the Cardinals at plus 425, and the Seahawks at plus 550.
I think San Francisco has the easiest road to the playoffs of any team in the NFC. Playing in the division that they're playing in, Seattle, is going to be in a, transition year. You've got Arizona that, you're familiar with, get off to a good start and then fizzle at the end again. They're only going to go as far as Kyler Murray takes them. You got to keep him healthy, and you got to keep, when he is healthy, you got to keep him not to make the bonehead play. He'll give you 3 or 4 sensational plays and then, one bonehead throw, and it can change a game. The Rams, a lot of people, what the Rams did last year, think they can take the next step again this year. Stafford's one hit away from being done. I mean, done. I mean, we know he's, at the end, backside of the career, hasn't seen any action in the preseason. Not that he really would have, but he hasn't even, been practicing a lot. How do the 49ers, if they stay healthy, not win this division? And because they have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL this year, how do they not get home field advantage? This is a team that, even if everything goes the way it's supposed to, we could be looking at Philadelphia, San Francisco in an NFC championship game, or, San Francisco and Detroit, and they might have to go play in San Francisco. I like them for the division. It's a short price, but I think that's the easiest one, the second easiest one of all the divisions.
I myself like the Cardinals some. I think that, Gannon is maybe even a better bet is him 20-1 be coach of the year. But, it's an interesting division. I just think the Niners losing all those receivers now to injury in the preseason and them picking up scrap. He says he's made a trade for Sky Moore, who the Chiefs pretty much crapped down on the last few years after drafting him. So, I'm worried about the Niners. I think they have the best coach of right now, but I think Gannon's kind of under the cover now. Don't get me wrong. I'm worried about Kyler Murray. How can you not be worried about Kyler Murray? I just think maybe with the right coach, this team can continue to be a run and, keep winning it all. How about the AFC North? Obviously, we just talked a little about that division. The Ravens at the favorite at minus 170, Bengals plus 280, Steelers plus 500, and Browns 35.
Well, obviously, this is Baltimore's division to lose. Cincinnati's going to be a great offensive team. I mean, I think you're going to see Cincinnati putting up video game numbers this year. But the question mark is it going to be enough because of the defense? That's a concern. Here's where I'm going to give you a play. I took a bet on Joe Burrow to win MVP. It's 6-1. And my reasoning behind that is just what I got done saying. They're going to have to score points this year. And we've seen Cincinnati, the one problem they've had each of the last several years is they get off to this notorious slow starts, lose a game first week of the season that they shouldn't lose. You've had Burrow, one of the years he had, his appendix out in the off season. Wasn't ready for the Stars, didn't practice, in exhibition. Then last year, he was coming back from a season-ending injury. Took him a while to get going. But once he got going, he was putting up big numbers. If he starts the season out the way I expect him to, and they played him in the preseason, they didn't want to have that slow start this year, he's going to put up numbers for the whole year. And, this is a vote, the MVP at the end of the year. And we've seen guys sometimes when everybody's grouped together, because it's going to be Lamar Jackson in a mix. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes if he puts up numbers, and then, Josh Allen from Buffalo. But guys that have already won it, they're going to have a tendency to go to the guy that didn't win it yet, if all things are equal. And that's why I think he gets the votes this year. I like him at 6-1. That's my bet out of the AFC North.
I think it's a great play, and you're right. You look for bad defenses, just like in Heisman type bets, because they have to play in the fourth quarter. They have to keep scoring. I think it's a wonderful play, Marco, and a great find on your part. I took the Steelers. I like losing on them under 8.5, so I'm going to keep it going. It's now that they have Aaron Rodgers, I have to. I mean, I don't see what can go right with this team. And don't get me wrong, I think that they made some good moves and they have a hell of a defense, but can they keep it all together? It's a tough division. We'll see on this one. How about the AFC South with the Texans plus 105, the Jags plus 300, the Colts plus 370, and the Titans plus 650?
I'm going to probably regret this, but I went with the Colts. Okay. I think they're the value in here. This team is missing, to me, the one ingredient, and that's consistent play at the quarterback position. So why am I taking a team that my two quarterback options are Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones? Okay. I wasn't a fan of Daniel Jones in New York, but he got this team to a playoff. Remember, a couple of years ago. I think the change of scenery will do him good. He's got a tremendous offensive line to work with in Indy. They've got enough people around him. I would rather see him than Anthony Richardson. I know they want things to work with Anthony Richardson, but it's not. He can't stay healthy, and he can't stay away from making dumb plays. This is going to be Daniel Jones's team. I think if it's not at the start, it will be shortly after. And I think they have a shot to do it. I think the Texans take a step backwards this year. And, what else do you have in that division? Is Jacksonville going to rebound? Trevor Lawrence had, with the injury and everything, was a lost season last year. I don't see them bouncing all the way back. So, yeah, give me the value with the Colts. I think this is a team that can sneak up and win this division.
Yeah, I'm not in love with Houston. I think they're a solid team, but I think there's a thin line between them screwing up and moving down. It's not like it's so decided like the Eagles or Ravens or Buffalo or anything like that. I took a nip at the Jags to make the playoffs at plus 140 or something. I don't think I took a division on this, but the Jags are a team that now it's do or die for Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. I know he's got a nice contract, but I mean, he's been through a lot of coaches. Was it him or the coaches? I think we're going to find out finally with Liam Cohen now if it's him or the coaches. And now you got a guy like Hunter, who is the Heisman winner there. You got Robinson, who has just been an amazing rookie from LSU. And you're stacked, buddy. You're stacked. You got ETN at running back, Tank. There's just so many good things on offense and a few good things on defense for Jacksonville. It's time to put up or shut up. AFC East, Bills minus 330, Pats plus 475. The Dolphins are plus 1,000, and the Jets 19-1.
Well, when I talked about San Francisco and I said they got the second easiest road to the playoffs, the Buffalo Bills have these, okay, there's nobody going to compete with them, in this division. New England's going to be improved. There's no question about that. But, you're still the Jets. We talked about Justin Fields already. If there's going to be anybody that could make the leap, maybe the Jets, but there's so far of a gap between them and Buffalo to make up. How does Buffalo not win this division? There's no value in the price there. So I didn't make a play in this division, but it's all Buffalo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Buffalo to me. I took them to win the AFC for number 1 seed.
Okay.
So I think it's plus 275. The schedule is ridiculously easy. They get the Ravens or the Chiefs at home, and the one they have to go away to is the Texans.
Oh.
It's like a perfect first place type schedule for them. And I think Josh Allen now, contract done, marriage done. It's time to win, baby. It's them or the Ravens really for me, and I had to take Buffalo, and they got the Ravens at home, and whoever team takes a loss, I would say just check those odds again, but I'm with you for sure on the Buffalo Bills for this division. Now, finally, the AFC West, Chiefs at minus 120, Broncos plus 275, Chargers plus 350, and the Raiders plus 2,000.
Well, when you talk this division, it's still Kansas City's till somebody overtakes them. But now what everybody is doing is you're either Team Bronco or Team Charger. Which one are you is going to take that next step? And I know a lot of people, and you've seen it reflected in the odds, that more people think it's going to be the Broncos. I'm pumping the brakes. I know this is year 3 of Sean Payton, and everybody's excited about the big jump they took from year 1 to year 2. And Bo Nix had, a very good rookie campaign. Here's the thing, just like I said with Daniels, and just like I would say with, Caleb Williams, what are you going to do in year 2? Now that everybody's got game film on you, now they're going to know how to game plan, know what your strengths and weaknesses, what your tendencies are. Are you going to be as successful? Granted, he's got the perfect coach to keep him in line and keep him moving forward. But I think we saw the jump that they did from year 1 to year 2, and they did that with a rookie quarterback. I'm going to the Chargers for the year 1 to year 2 jump because I've got a seasoned veteran quarterback, Justin Herbert, that I think with a quarterback's coach in Harbaugh, that I think this is the year we see that big jump out of the Chargers. Chargers have been knocking on the door. They're the one team that always plays the Chiefs tough. They always still find a way to lose, but they play them tough, in their head-to-head matchups. I think this is the year that they might break through and get over the hump. So I'm Team Chargers in the AFC West.
Well, Marco, you might like what I have to say because I actually took both the Chargers and the Denver Broncos. And so I'm taking half the division and blended odds is about 1.75 to 1, right? It's almost 2 to 1 blended odds because if you lose both, it's like losing 2 bets, so you got to blend the odds together.
So you're taking a 1 and 1A in horse racing.
Yeah, there you go. All right. And there are some examples out there. Maybe you go Chargers. I'm not going to get too crazy. I don't want to make these books start salivating here. No, I agree that the Chiefs are going to take a step back. They're the biggest Pythagorean win total difference from 15 wins. It was like a 5-game Pythag, and that's even counting that loss against the Broncos in the last game of the regular season where they didn't start anybody. But here's this. The Broncos only beat one above 500 team besides that game, and that was the Tampa Bay Bucks in week 3. Every time they're the bullies, they smoked the bad teams, and then they got beat whenever they stepped up a competition. So that's why I kind of like both. I don't love the Chargers' injuries, but you know what? You'll forget about those once Jim Harbaugh starts coaching. I like Jim Harbaugh better than Sean Payton. So right now, I also lean the Chargers at the better number. But I think taking both's not the worst idea either.
I like that.
What about what's your favorite bet out of this then for a division or season win total?
I took a flyer on Super Bowl future on the 49ers. And, granted, they got banged up in the preseason some. I took that prior to that just because, again, I think they really are going to come out of the NFC, with the best record in home. Home field is so important. And then, as good as Philadelphia looks on paper, we've seen the Super Bowl hangover effect, with teams, not repeating. Granted, Kansas City was there, in the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, but it's still, I expect them to maybe come back to earth a little bit. In their division, got a little bit tougher, obviously, with Washington, with the improvements that they had last year. Detroit is still going to beat Detroit until they get that monkey off their back. And I hope my partner Johnny Detroit's not listening because bad mouthing his Lions. But until they do it, I can't buy into it. So the 49ers, this is a team that just 2 years ago was in the Super Bowl and was winning it in the second half. Yeah, I had the 49ers in that game. That's why I remember.
What's up to Sean Higgs coming in? We love Sean Higgs, man. He's the greatest. Yeah. He was a week early. I wish Sean was still here because some guys from Backbench are looking pretty rough around the edges still here. But That's just how it is. But thank you, Sean. Yeah, man. I think the Bills to win the AFC seed, the number one seed, is my favorite bet out of those. But I took a lot. I mean, I took the Saints back in May under 6.5. I mean, some of these numbers
ridiculous.
are long gone. Right? We can only talk about what's out there right now. And I think that's the most relevant way to attack this, because bragging about a bet is kind of stupid. And don't get me wrong, I also take my lickings. I'll have a bad bet sometimes with the odds that move against me. So that's just sports betting. You want obviously it to go in your favor a lot more often, and that's a good thing.
Do you like the closing line trophies? Whenever you beat the closing number and then you lose.
I have too many of those. I have too many of those damn trophies. But you might have something a little bit in college to talk about before we go.
I do. There's a team I like in the Big 12, and getting nice price on them, and I actually took them also to make, if I like them, if I think they have a legitimate shot at winning the Big 12, then I think they can make the playoffs, obviously, because if they win the Big 12, they're going to be in the playoff picture. And don't sleep totally on Utah. This is a team that, and wait, let me check the injury report. Cam Rising is still questionable. Every week last year, we had to see Cam Rising listed as questionable. It was just a black cloud over this team. They didn't know what.
We got BS reports from that coach.
It was ridiculous every single week. And I think it was a major distraction. They should have just pulled the plug, moved on, and went with whatever they had, and that was going to be it. Now we have a new season. We've got Dampier coming in. I like him a lot. This is a quarterback that I think is going to put up some good numbers for Utah. And what did we see about Utah last year? As bad as the offense was, and it was abysmal, this defense never quit last year. And it was the first year in the Big 12. We know what the Big 12 is. I refer to the Big 12 as a finesse conference where you've got a lot of teams that want to go up and down the field, throw the football, much like Utah played when they were in the Pac-12. And if you remember the last few years in the Pac-12, they were a thorn in everybody's side. They won it. And why did they win it? It was because of the brand of football that they play. They play a physical style of football that most teams don't like to play in that finesse type offenses. And they were able to pound on you. I think that is going to keep them in a lot of games this year. And if the offense clicks, if Dampier has any kind of year that I think he can have, they're my sleeper team in the Big 12. You're going to get them at a nice price in the Big 12, and I think I got them at like 4 something to make the college football playoffs. I took them on the yes bet there. So that's my sleeper bet for you.
Oh, it's a great sleeper. I'm on them as well. There's a few teams I like in the Big 12, and I love it, Marco. And not only that, man, we love Wager Talk. We love your stuff. Could you let our listeners and viewers know where they can get your amazing information?
Well, guys, follow me on Twitter at Marco in Vegas. We do a lot of videos, and yes, they have this old man on Instagram to be like with the little cool kids. I've been doing free videos every day on there, so you can follow me on Instagram, and then of course head over to wagertalk.com and check out all the shows we have. And if you only got time to watch one show, check out Bet on It. We do that every week. We do a college edition and a pro edition, and we do a lot of we break down the games. We have a lot of fun. It's an entertaining show, Kiev, along with giving you a lot of information. So check it out if you get a chance.
Make sure you guys follow Marco D'Angelo at Marco in Vegas. My friends, we're going to take a quick 5-minute intermission and come back with some football contest sign-up information with the best proxy in Vegas. Vegas Matty, Tony, and footballcontest.com.
Thank you. No problem.
I really appreciate it. I gotta see what Chris was talking about. He said it was.
It sounds fine. You crackle a little bit here and there when you get loud and start turning, but
It's I crackle.
The only thing,
you sound great.
I don't know if it was in your headset too, but in my headset, I'm getting your feedback like on 5 like a couple seconds delay.
It always does that.
Yeah, that's one thing I was just saying that happened. And like I leave my mic a lot and you talk the same time. the last guy. That's why I was like, here's one of the years so that I could listen to him. Do I want? Yeah. Fuck.
See you, Marco.
See you, Marco.
Oh, it is, but like
He's
8183.
as much. I have to make the food. I'm just trying to figure out that we said I was good.
I think you're
I
fine.
think you're fucking good.
No, he was good.
No, he was good. I was doing most of it.
Those bumper stickers? Yeah. You need one? All right, Vegas underscore Matty at football contest.
You know what I hear? I back on I hear like
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
Yeah, it's not, you can't do anything about
On the, yeah, this one was clear. Yeah, this one was clear as day. There's no big echo through the mic. It's all good. All right.
You know, it's actually not that bad. If you're like,
no, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, because if you get the top,
So where am I going? Just right here? So Tony said you got to go down and say hi to her. So.
and the moral board.
Yeah.
Tony Gordon,
Tony,
my partner. Oh, no, that's
oh, no, that's
Vegas.
fine.
You mean
Like,
Foxy
the
Foxy?
only-
Well, there's just
I
three
know.
Tonys here.
I know.
I don't know.
Those guys don't care.
I'm sorry, my brain's. I
I might need a drink. Actually, I need
Get a drink. Let's get some drinks. Let me buy you one. What do we got?
I can.
All right,
My friend,
looks like
looks
I
like
had a little camera issue.
camera issue. The sound came off, but that's okay. Well, I got myself a little cocktail to keep this thing rolling. But we have a wonderful guest right now, Mr. Vegas, Matty from Football Contest.
Cheers. Cheers to football season.
Here in the first and Matt's great. He's one of the first proxies I've ever used, and man, he is damn good at it. This company will make sure that you can play any contest anywhere in the world, which is extremely awesome. Matty, how the heck are you doing, man? This is your busy time of year.
I'm going to enjoy a cocktail while I can because, it's not going to last too much longer. So got to get ready for that season, Kiev.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Enjoy as much as possible because you are going to be the working Friday, Saturday, Sunday is it's crunch time for you.
Sunday I'll be sleeping. I'll tell you that much. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday is going to be my day to sleep in and just take it easy. Starting week 1.
Oh, that's and do you have to sometimes, right? And what's new for this year over at footballcontest.com that you and Tony have going on?
Well, we got a brand new website, new logo, as you can see here. Some new content. We got a new Survivor interface that we're really excited about. It's going to keep track of everyone's picks throughout the season, so you don't have to worry about having a little notebook and making sure that you didn't pick you use that team already. We're going to do that stuff for you. You're going to be able to. I don't know. It's just a lot more streamlined, I think, in my opinion. So it's going to be a lot more user friendly for everyone, all of our clients, and we're just hoping it can lead to some more winners this year.
Winners is what I'm talking about, my friend. That's what we're here for, and that's what we all wish to do. And these contests are getting so crazy out of hand that if you're one of 5 people or less that can split some of these Survivors contests, man, you are set for life, and that's what we're here for. Well, dude, like, how many people from out of state are coming in? Like, what's the percentage of people compared to the people in Vegas?
I think Jeff Benson had said like it's 90%, something like that, of the entries are people from out of state.
Wow.
So yeah, when you think about that, that's it's quite a bit, and that could also give you really an amount of how small the contest would be without out of state people and proxies, of course. So we kind of help make it possible for them to be this big, and we're happy to help market the contest, bring people in, like events like Ultimate Contest Weekend and the Radio Road that we got going on up here right now. Just brings more press and gets people more involved and lets them know exactly what's out here, because without finding out about the contest and really kind of helping explain what they're all about, and that you can participate even though if you live anywhere around the world, really. You just got to be able to get to Vegas to sign up in person. Then you pass that baton to us, and we'll take it from there. And you'll just log into our website, make your picks, and hopefully cash a big check in the end.
That's right, man. Wow, 90%. That is amazing. That is so many people coming from the outside coming to Vegas, but it's also because this place is awesome. It's like going to trip and you have a vacation come here, you get in the contest, but it's just already counts as a vacation because there's so much fun to do. And maybe you lucky streak and win some money back. And the sports book's always good for that. And it's if you're showing better, or let's just say you're a little bit better than the public, you have a shot. You have a shot to do it, and I think that's very important. So, what's the overlays right now, my man? What's the overlays in this contest, and will we ever overlay in millions?
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any overlays. I think it's shoot. I should look on my phone, but what does the number say up there now? Any way to read that? I'm kind of blocked by a banner.
It's 8 million. 8,000 over for Survivor. Yeah, it's hard to see, but I think millions. Dave, you see the number 2,800 something? You see the number for millions, Dave? D Nasty here in the flesh, helping us out here.
There's about 3,000 entries, I think, in the million at this point, which means they gotta double it basically in the next couple weeks to avoid the overlay, which I think they will do. And then the Survivor, I think, is probably sitting at about 7 million, something like that. 6.8, something like that.
Survivor is I'm seeing a number that's over getting up there. What's that, Dave? 3,447,000 is the overlay. So there's 2 million 2,550 in the. So actually, less than 50% are in for the guarantee right now. But I
What for
think,
the million, right? Yeah.
yeah. But here's the good thing.
Yeah.
The million, 6.5
Yeah, it all
million.
goes back in the pot. So you guys, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's huge. And so the cool thing is that people do quit these contests too, and so it gives you a little bit more of an edge. People forget to put their plays in, and at the end of the day, people just give up, and it almost makes it like a positive.
That's true. We know how that goes. So that's we have clients who give up every year. That especially in the million. I mean, it never happens in Survivor, but with the million, I was telling somebody earlier, like the worst thing you can do is through the first couple of weeks be sitting at 5-5 because you have no shot really to win the quarterly prize or the booby prize for the first quarter. So you're kind of stuck there, and then you got people who will take the last basically 3 weeks off, 2 to 3 weeks off, and not even make picks because after 2 weeks, and then they refresh it for quarter two, get back in it, see how they do it. But I don't know. It's you see it all in this business. That's for sure.
All right, you certainly do, my friend. And cheers for the drink.
Of course.
Hey, it's funny. People instead of not getting in for Survivor, there's people that just forget to put their picks in sometimes.
Not our clients.
But it's not. The good thing is, please talk about that. How you do not allow your clients to screw up.
Yeah, I mean, we'll track you down. I was telling a story earlier too. We had a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, we had a gentleman who was at a sheep auction in Nebraska, and we had to track him down. He had missed the deadline by an hour, and our deadline, and we were still able to track him down and get his Survivor pick in. But honestly, that's like so few and far between. Like the guys who sign up with us for Survivor, especially, like they always get their picks in. There's no doubt about it. Like we might have to like call and remind them or whatever, but like we've never missed a Survivor pick. This is what, year 5, 6, whatever. Yeah, I mean, they take their picks seriously. They know it's easy to get their picks into us, and if they somehow forget, we're definitely going to reach out to them and get that pick from them to put in.
My man, that's great that you do that, and it's so huge to have that insurance policy. So it's not, it's funny. That's why people in Vegas sign up for proxies, because they don't want to screw up, and they have an insurance policy like Vegas Matty over here. Making sure people get in. So what do you think, man? 15 million is a guarantee in Survivor. It's a guarantee, but where do you think this thing ends up at?
Somewhere 18 to 20 million, I think, which is 18,000 to 20,000 entries. So I think that's definitely a possibility. We've got that Grandissimo too. That's already at 20 entries, which is 5 over. They're
already blew away the number, because 1.5 million was guaranteed, and you got 19 people.
20, yeah, 20. It's up to 20. So that's
okay. 20
so that's
today.
$2 million guaranteed. Yeah, they just had 20 come in a little bit ago.
$100,000 buy-in, and $100,000 buy-in for this Survivor contest, and
it could double as well. That you could end up seeing 40 entries in that one, which would be 40 million. That would be, or 4 million. I'm sorry, which is be pretty amazing for 40 people.
Oh my God, that is so amazing. And I guess 30 and 18. I said 30 people will be in Grandissimo. I guess 18 million for Survivor. So I think I'm tracking better now for Survivor, but I might be low on Grandissimo. I'm, I guess, at 30 because that's $3 million, because it's 100,000 buy-in.
I think it'll definitely be over 30. Yeah, somewhere between 30 and 40 probably.
Labor Day weekend still coming. If you have any flight plans, stop here, do a layover, baby. Come in and see Matty. Get in these wonderful contests that Derek puts on for us. It's just fantastic. Why don't you talk about this year? And you don't have to mention any names, Matty, but what's the most entries you took from one dude?
We had a gentleman who did the Grandissimo. Then he also maxed out all the entries at Circa with the full house, 5 million, 10 survivors, then also did 10 college entries over at the Westgate. And I'm trying to think, he did some other stuff at Westgate as well. So he was definitely our biggest whale, if you will. But this guy has won contests before, college contests in particular, a couple of them, the William Hill contest, Golden Nugget contest. So he's won both those before. And I wouldn't count him out. Like, I think he's definitely, he's been one of our biggest guys over the years. But yeah, he invested like almost $140,000, I think, in contest entry fees alone this year.
Well, the man seems to know what he's doing if he's winning, right? I mean, that's what you do. He's getting into all of them, and what a really cool thing to do. Well, that's awesome, man. Why don't you talk to the listeners and tell them, what it takes to get in, what they can do, and it's not just maybe for this year, maybe for next year. How can they kind of start planning for this to get with you from any place in the world, not just this country, but to get into these awesome contests? Because next year it's going to be higher.
Yeah, I mean, just go to footballcontest.com, really, and you can get everything you need to know about these football contests, the ones that we proxy for, the Grandissimo, the Circa Survivor, the Circa Million. You can get all the rules, the official rules, how to play in these contests. Basically, the most important thing you need to know is that you do need to enter in person. So no matter where you live around the globe, if you could get out here between now and I believe it's September 6th at 3 p.m. or 2 p.m., something like that, and sign up for the contest. You want to get your picks in through a proxy or in person. If you live within Nevada, that is the key. So there's the biggest question I think we've had is just all the different Circa sports books that are popping up around the country. And hey, can I sign up at one of those sports books? Can I put my picks in there? And the answer is no. So this is a Nevada-based contest. All of these are, and you have to be within Nevada to both enter and then submit your picks. So if you can't do that in person, submit your picks. That's where we come into play as the proxy, and then we'll do that for you. You can prepay ahead of time for the proxy fees, but really just get all the information at footballcontest.com.
All right, guys, make sure you check out Matty. Matty, he's going to be here all weekend and all next week, just every single day. These things. I mean, this man must have 20 paper cuts by now. I don't even know. But here we go. Thanks again, Matty.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, my friends. Well, that was part one. Thursday. We're going to be coming back in about a half hour, 45 minutes with Tony Gordon, a former Millions winner. We're going to be coming back with Jeff Benson, the director of operations here at Circa Sports. And then we're definitely going to be coming back with some surprise guests as well. We'll be talking soon. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you in about a half an hour.
All right, super.
Welcome to the Odds Breakers, number one